What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Riffing with the Sappers. Got special guests, Carlos and Evan Ledesma, special guests, Carlos and Evan Ledesma, friends of the channel. Really happy to have you guys back with us to help join another call. You're back from college on a break. Yeah, you're sporting, you're representing. Yeah, go back, then you're back to the grind next week. We're going to review a game today that happened back on October 7th. This was between Roseville and Blackhawks, their U19 Girls teams, the 2005-2006. I think if you go back to like episode 16, the Blackhawks appeared on that channel too, had some loud interactions with the coach in that one. Go to episode 27, you'll see Roseville was, I think it was actually the game the week before on this one. The Roseville teams appeared on that one, so check those out. We also did a pregame special where we talk about the recording of our pregame that was on episode 24. We'll link those in the comments, so check them out. Yeah, I had Shoshana, who is a very good AR on the far side of the field, which is the Blackhawks side. And I had Landon on the near side and the Roseville side, who also worked out really well for us in this game. Again, you can see our whole pregame discussion if you go back to episode 22. And I actually talk in that pregame about how I've got some history with these teams, and both sides have some history of dissent. So we won't go into that in detail here, but yeah, you can check that out by going back to episode 24. So, all right, good luck. This game started out pretty chill. We're almost 7 minutes into it before the first real decision happens. There was a goal that was scored fairly early by the home team, the black team. So we're 1-0 at this point. But the ball is getting cleared up from the defensive third. It's coming up here to this gray player who's coming in from the right hand side of her screen. You're going to see that right there. And the girl just comes in, bumps her, gives her a little push. Super easy to call. And they don't get a lot easier to start the game than that. Carrying on to the ninth minute of the match, we've got a ball here that's up for grabs. It's kind of between these two players. Neither one of them clearly have possession, but then there's a challenge here. They both kind of go for it. Black ends up going down. I ended up no calling that on the pitch, but Carlos, you were saying when you watched this, you saw something that I missed.
Well, in slow motion, obviously, you can see that the gray player misses the ball and catches Black's right leg, and that's what caused the trip.
So two decisions in, and we're taking our first deduction. About a minute later, we've got a throw in that's happening. We're going to look at these two players here on the left side of the screen. When we play it, we see right there, Gray is going up to, I'm going to back it up here. Gray is going up to head this ball, and you see this black player kind of nudge her in the back, give a little bit of elbow. What do you guys think?
White does have advantage, but they're in their own third, so might as well just give them a foul.
Yeah. So call that one, and we keep going. About 3 minutes later, we've got another call here. Happens on this near side. We've got this gray player here who's got clear possession of the ball. Black's going to come up behind her and challenge her. As we play it, we see she just goes through her back, pushes her down, doesn't even try to play the ball. I think she ends up doing this a little bit more in the match, but I didn't do a good job in this game of registering the numbers of players who committed the fouls. Maybe I should have. Let's watch that as it goes on because I think we'll probably see her appear in some other clips as we go. About a minute later, we've got on the far side of the field in this penalty area a situation that's actually, we're going to reference back to episode 32 when we did a deep dive on playing in a dangerous manner and particularly playing the ball on the ground. So let's watch it here, and we're going to see this great player come in, make a challenge, and then she kicks the ball away while she's on the ground. Now let's talk about what did I actually see when this was happening. So I'm just off the screen here looking in a pretty credible position between those two players. I see the player go down, and then I do see her stick her foot out and she kicks the ball away. From my angle, I thought the gray player's foot was in front of both legs of the black player, and she's trying to kick the ball, clear it out to the side, right? So that means her foot was completely going away from the black player. Now you see this black player stumble, but that's because she's trying to chase it down and she trips herself over the player's leg. So if we listen to the audio on this one, we get a little bit of noise from the coach here. You hear them say they're playing on the ground, they're playing on the ground. So they want a foul for playing on the ground. But again, if you go back to episode 32, playing on the ground itself is not a foul, right? It's playing in a dangerous manner, which sometimes playing on the ground can result in. So the question is here, is any of that dangerous for either player? Like you play a lot of defense in this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking that?
Nothing was dangerous. Black wasn't in danger, and neither was gray. So yeah, I think it's a good no call.
So we're gonna make that a no call. Let us know in the comments if you disagree, but we're gonna call that a correct decision. So as we get to the 15th minute of this match, we've got I think it was a drop kick from the goalie. It's coming up here. Ball's up for grabs. These two players are going to go for it. Black just kind of gets position on the gray player. She gets a little bit frustrated and just gives her that elbow going right through her. Very easy to call. Okay, not more than 20 seconds later, we've got a play where the ball is being cleared up from the Grays defending third. It's a long ball here, and this gray player and black defender are going to be going for it. And so right here, the ball is going long. It's probably going to go to the keeper anyway. But what I judged was that right about here, this black player and gray player are looking to go for the ball. And right here, this black player kind of makes the decision, I'm not going to get to the ball, so I'm going to stop her from getting to it. And she goes over in front of her, sticks her arms out, and kind of slows her down. Now, I don't know if Gray would have gotten to it, but I saw that action and I decided to call impeding. And I know I've said on the channel that impeding's a rare call, though if you look at her videos, it seems like I've called it quite a bit. Just looking at the laws of the game here, I don't think it's wrong to call it here, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's not wrong to call it, but I would talk to 14.
Use it as a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
We're going to call that a correct decision, but it's one of those for game management, kind of based on how you go here. You could call it kind of either way, and it'd be would be okay. Carrying on to the 19th minute, we've got a throw in that happens. It comes into the gray and black players here, and then the ball's up for grabs, and black just kind of shoves her off of the ball, and gray had actually kind of had the ball at her feet until that happened. So pretty easy call. Carrying on about a minute later, we've got a ball that's bouncing, and then this black player is going to be in a pretty good position to get it. But then this gray player comes and jumps into her and throws her off of that. Camera's not in a perfect angle to see that because we're looking through them, makes it difficult to see how much the jump was. Easy call to make, and we grant the direct free kick to the black team. It's several minutes before we've got our next decision. Now we're in minute 29, and the ball's on the far side of the field. This black and gray player here are kind of, bumping together, a little bit tangled up, and the ball's going to squirt out there. Gray tries to get over to it, but you see this black player just kind of has a hold of her arm, pulling her back some, stopping her momentum from what probably would have allowed her to get to that ball a little bit quicker. Had the pull. I let it go for a second in case she got a breakaway and managed to get a good pass out of that, but ultimately end up calling it back for the foul. In the 34th minute, we've got a goal here that's a little bit controversial. And again, we don't normally review goals on the channel, but this one's a little bit noteworthy here. So we've got a cross coming in here. Keeper tries to save it. Defender tries to get it. And then this defender tries to run in and kick it out. And you notice, like right there is when she saves it. If we just look at this here with it paused, she looks to be 100% in this goal. Like her left foot even looks to me like it's past the goal line. So but my assistant referee didn't give perfectly clear signal on it, and so if you go back to one of our previous episodes, we talk a little bit about how clear signals on close goals. Hopefully, maybe he can watch that episode on. We'll link it in the description. But I end up not being 100% sure, mostly because he didn't signal. So I decided I'm going to go talk to him. Flashing forward a couple of seconds, give me a chance to get over and talk to him quietly, and then we'll hear me just kind of ask him what he has. It's a little bit muffled, so you can't really hear his response, but essentially we walk away from this saying, yep, it's a goal. So I come back out and I signal for the goal. It's a goal! And then we start to get some chippiness from the coaches on this sideline. Essentially, they say, hey, you can't let the players influence your decision. And so let's listen to my response. Coach, he's not allowing the girls. Coach, I'm calling the game with their help. Yes, with my assistant referee's help, that is how I am calling the game. We are not going to do this again. There's a little bit of a history here. If you go back to, I think it was episode 27, we had this team on, and there was some coach dissent in that one as well, which is why you get the "we're not doing this again." I think that game was the weekend before. They're saying we're letting the girls influence the decision. I'm trying to say the girls aren't calling the game. I'm calling the game with their help, and I mean my assistant referee's help. And you hear their kind of laugh and like, oh yeah, yeah, with their help, you're letting them help you. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, of course I don't mean the players. Like, you know.
I think if I may add, coaches, if you're watching this, just remember this. The score of every game that we referee, I speak for myself for sure, and I'm sure these two guys here, does not matter to us. We don't care who wins or loses. We just want to call a good game. We want to get the calls correctly. By Scott going over to his assistant, who's there also to do a job, by going over and talking to him, make sure that they both have the correct call, not just who's scoring or who's not, so that they walk away knowing that they made the right call. Half of those players will not like the call, the other half will. That's just the way it goes. So just remember, the score does not matter to us. We just want to make the right calls.
Almost immediately following the kickoff from that goal that we just saw that tied up the games, we've got Black and Gray here. Again, these are two players who have been kind of chippy, we've noticed in the video here. So they challenge for it, they're going, and then Black or gets pushed down there. So there is, in advance of this, there's some kind of mutual arms going, some little bit of mutual pushing, not enough to call there, but just two people battling for it, and then Gray clearly pushes her down there. Now, I called the foul. I did not give a yellow card in this instance. Yes, Carlos, what do you think looking at that one?
This is where two of us don't agree because I recognize that this particular Gray player this is her third similar foul where she's pushing. She jumped in on that foul, remember?
Yeah.
And then earlier earlier in the game she pushed another player in the back, and now she's done it again a third time, and we're 36 minutes in. So at this point, I say she's earned a yellow. She's earned a caution for persistent uh, infringement fouls.
What's your thought on?
I'm thinking that yes, this is her third, but the way this foul goes down, it seems to me that Black initiates that contact with her to begin with. Gray finishes it off, but it doesn't seem more like a foul that I would want to give a yellow card for. It'd be just be more because it also looks like Gray stumbles a little bit, so it just seemed more like one of those light, clumsy fouls.
And for me, it's something I'm learning from watching my games that I have to do a better job of registering which players are actually committing the fouls. I did register the temperature of this game was going up. I didn't necessarily register that it was these two players persistently going at it. So given that we kind of have this difference of opinion, we're going to take a half-point deduction. Let us know in the comments if you think it's definitely a yellow at this point. Moving on to the 37th minute, we've got an offside call here that we're pretty sure is wrong. Black's on the attack, and then right about and forward it right there is when this player over here kicks the ball forward. It's going to go to this attacker. And then when the ball comes forward, she calls for offside. So not really sure what she saw there, but yeah, definitely doesn't look right from what we're seeing here. In the 39th minute, we've got a pull over here. It's on the far side of the field. We're going to see Black and Gray here challenge for this ball. And as they come in, they get kind of hung up there. Black grabs Gray's arm. They're kind of probably grabbing each other, but Black held on a little bit too long there. And pretty straightforward to give the direct free kick to Gray in that situation. Yep. In the 41st minute, we've got some kind of chippiness here on the sideline that honestly we as the officiating crew missed. So let's watch it. The two players here are challenging for it, and then there's just a bunch of kind of shoving there. So here, right there, she tries to kick the ball, but then after this great player pushes Black. Black gets frustrated, kind of turns around a little bit there, but actually she's looks like she's just trying to turn and go. And then this great player gives her this elbow. Now, if we look at what I was doing when all of this happened, like I'm standing just off this screen here, and I'm looking through these two players. So I've got these two players, and you can even tell a little bit in my body language, like I'm trying to look around to see what happened. And now I end up seeing, okay, the ball is out of bounds. I think it's done. And at this point, if we look at my face, I'm actually making eye contact with my assistant referee because the ball's been out of bounds for a second or so. I'm trying to just figure out direction. My AR, they're taught to make eye contact with the center referee when you're signaling for a call. So we're actually looking at each other in this case. We're not actually looking at this. It ends up, I think we definitely missed something there. Probably definitely should have at least given a verbal warning to that player. I suppose it's debatable if it should be a yellow card or not. Definitely at least should have been a verbal here. Now, if we listen to the audio, the coaches kind of ask us, hey, did you not see that? And then I go and talk to the assistant referee because I did miss it. So there they both a player and the coach asked me, did you not see that? I didn't see it. So I go blow my whistle. I decide I'll see if my assistant referee saw anything. You can't really pick it up in the audio here because of the way the microphone was in my shirt, but essentially he didn't see anything either. And again, back because we were making eye contact. And then I'll just explain it to the coach of, hey, look, if we might have just missed something there. All right, if something happened, we missed it. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's pretty good in that situation. Says, hey, look, kind of appreciating that we're at least honest about, what happened. But definitely missed one here, and we'll take the deduction on that. With just a couple of decisions left in the first half, we've got Black on the attack here in the 42nd minute. There's a cross that comes to this player, and she's just got her arm out right there. Taps the ball down right to her feet. Easy call to make on a handling there and give a direct free kick to the defense.
Yep.
In the 44th minute, we've got our last call of the first half. The ball is just bounced way up in the air and is up for grabs. And when it comes down, Black just kind of comes through, pulls Gray's leg out from under her. Very straightforward call. And we end up giving the kick to the defending team there. And with that, that takes us to halftime, so we blow it dead. Halftime. So at the start of the halftime, I came over and I talked to this coach. I'd been getting some more noise from the sideline, and even at some point in the first half, I'd given a sideline warning here. We didn't find it as we were watching back through the video, but I wanted to have a discussion with this coach, both about the controversial call on the goal that we've now reviewed.
Let's make sure we keep the talk rolling. Yeah. I already let the.
So the reason I came on the goal from the center of the field, if I was a solo official, I thought it went in. I saw it go in.
Okay.
So I was like,
yeah, that's fair enough. That's why I didn't argue it, but I already told them. Yeah.
and the sideline warning, something appeared.
Okay.
So in this match, a lot of the dissent we've been getting, there'd been some from the parents, but then particularly the assistant coaches here. So there I'm just talking like, hey, look, can you please work to keep your assistant coaches under control? Get that support from the coach. It's always a good thing. And part of the trying to manage the game there at the halftime. All right, ladies, we're going to play 45 minutes. Good luck. So in the 48th minute, we're going to see a sequence of events that ends up resulting in a yellow card to the assistant coach on this sideline. This is actually on something really kind of silly. It's a throw-in direction, but we'll play it here. Right here, this gray player kicks it. It ends up hitting this black player, goes out of bounds, and so we watch me. I make eye contact with my AR. I signal for a deflection, and I signal the correct direction for the throw, right? Yeah. So pretty straightforward, correct call, no issues. So when we flash forward to when this throw-in's actually happening, we're going to watch this coach's shadow here. So right here, see him, he's going to raise up his arm. He's going to he's basically saying, no, throw-in should be our direction, And at that point, I let the throw-in happen. And we kind of play it out here. Play happens, kicks around. I wait for the next stoppage. And then I come back and I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and give him a yellow card for dissent by action. Because I just felt like, one, it was very, very clear what the direction was. All right. So, I give him the old card. He asks why. I simulate what he was doing, which was with his arm, signaling the direction.
Descent by action.
So I think at that point the head coach asked what for, and I said descent by action. Now, if you look at the laws of the game, you can have descent by word or action, right? So actions is within the laws of the game to call there. Now, I do think that this is a little bit light. I might not have given a yellow card here if there wasn't some, for lack of a better term, history. And I just felt like this was blatant because it was very obvious to me which direction it was, and the video supports it. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this a bit too much here? Did I cross the line?
Yeah, I think if there is some sort of history, even earlier in that game or a previous game, especially like you said, previously they complained that in their opinion, you guys were allowing the players to influence your decision, and he goes and does exactly the same thing. So
And a yellow card to a coach is not really the same as a yellow card to a player, because if you give a yellow card to a player, now they have to play more conservatively and be more careful.
and it's an assistant coach too.
Right. Now he
Yeah.
has to coach
Yeah.
differently. Well, yeah, if you're coaching the ref, then don't do that.
So I was giving this a lot for game management and just, some of that, for lack of a better term, persistence. So
Yeah.
we're going to call that a correct decision for this. Let us know in the comments if you disagree, if it's a little bit too light. But I think, given the history, given what I know about this team, and given even history in this game, I feel like it was the right thing for game management. So it's all the way to the 55th minute before we've got our next decision, and we're going to have the ball bouncing up for grabs. Gray's gonna run for it, and Black's just kind of holding her. And if I flash this back, she actually starts holding her right about here when the ball is even on this side of the field. And I kind of watch that because I have this feeling like if she could just break away from that, she could actually make this turn and maybe get past this player and then have a pretty good attack. So I give it an extra second or two to do the wait and see if she can fight through it. You can see the coach over here, he raises his hand, wants to know where the foul is, but that's just me waiting that heartbeat or two to see what happens, let it play out. But I end up going ahead and calling it and bring it back. I think I even tell him to kick it from back here at midfield where I first saw the foul happen. About 3 minutes later, we've got an offside on the left-hand side of the screen here. Gray's on an attack, and then right about there is the moment of our decision. The player who's going to actually receive the ball is on the left side of the screen, just off camera. Second to last defender is this player here, and Shoshana is on the line or right there close to it. We see the ball come through, ends up going down. I actually don't call that right away because I miss that Shoshana has her flag up. So I let it play out a little bit here, and then I end up hearing people say, "Look at your AR, look at your AR." So end up finally getting that one right, but I think that's a correct decision. Carrying on to the 65th minute, we've got our next decision. Now, Black has rattled off another goal, so they're now winning 2-1. They had a nice corner kick and a header for a clean goal. The ball is over here on the far side of the field. This Black and Gray player are going to challenge, and then right there, this Gray player just launches herself, jumping into the back of that player. So for me, pretty straightforward. Couple minutes later, we've got a challenge for the ball here on very near to the camera. And right here, these players come in and we see Black go in with her arm extended. She even actually steps on this player's foot. Now, I was actually, if we zoom over here, I was standing here and looking directly between them, so I couldn't see the outstretched arm from that angle. And so I end up, when she goes down, I end up just telling them to keep playing. Now, you see from their body language, there's not a big expectation of a call there. But I think looking at it with this benefit of this camera angle, probably should have been a call for a push. A few minutes later, in the 70th minute, we've got the ball coming through here. Gray kind of kicks it up, and it's hard to see, but right there, it hits this Black player's arm that's kind of out like this. I felt like that was kind of an unnatural position, not closer to her body of a running motion. And the ball ends up dropping to her foot there, gains a little bit of advantage from it. So handling call and a direct kick for Gray. Here we're going to see Gray is on the attack, really has a breakaway in front of these defenders. The keeper's going to come out to challenge for this ball, but we'll see the keeper comes out, kicks the ball away, and then just kind of is existing there. And the Gray player and the one of the defenders actually trip over her. So I really felt like that was a fair challenge. I knew that Gray was going to be screaming for wanting a foul there since we're getting to the latter stage of the game and they're still down a goal. So everybody's going to be, at least on one side, is going to be looking for a PK. I felt that was clean. I don't see anything there that would challenge that. But the ball also just kicks out here. One of the other attackers kicks it on the rebound, has a really nice goal from outside of the penalty area. So they end up scoring anyway. So several minutes go by before we've got our next decision, and we're going to see a challenge here between this Gray and this Black player. And Black actually gets the ball, kicks the ball between Gray's legs, but it's really difficult to see from this angle. But I thought I saw an arm extension, which I would have had a really good angle on it there. So I see what I think is a push there, end up calling it and giving Gray a direct free kick. Less than a minute after the last decision, we've got Gray on the attack in the box. There's a cross coming over, and then right here it comes up, kicked up or kneed up by that Gray player, ends up hitting Gray's hand, which is actually out there. And so, it's easy. People are calling for a handball there, but if we listen to the audio, I end up explaining why I didn't call this as a handball offense.
Up off her foot to her hand, not a handball.
Yeah, so there I give the explanation, but if you go back and you watch, let me look at my notes here. If you go back and you watch our episode 29 on this channel, we did a deep dive into handball and some of the guidance from IFAB, both in the direct laws of the game, but as well as the Q&A section and some of the guidance. And they talk about how if it's up off of a legal playing surface to a hand, then they don't want those called as a handball. So I was trying to apply that here. And that's why I thought it wasn't, and I didn't want to grant it there. All right, now we're entering the final 5 minutes of the game. It is really tight. It's still tied 2-2, so emotions are going up. People know they're in the final stages, and we've got a challenge here that's really, in my mind, a straightforward trip. So let's watch, and the ball's right there. Black kicks it. Gray kind of comes around her, and then in slow motion, you see the Black player behind her just, she clips her on the ankle. It happens, right? She goes down hard, but it wasn't a hard foul. It's just her momentum, but she was tripped. Very, very clear, very, very easy call to make, and I grant that. But now let's listen to a little bit of the audio because we end up giving a yellow card to a player for dissent in this case.
Are you serious? She tripped on
you can hear her there. She curses. She says, "Are you serious?" To me, it was a very clear foul. I do end up coming over here and giving her a yellow card. Less than a minute later, we've got another decision here, and these players are kind of challenging for it, really clumsily kind of step over the ball. And if I play this in slow motion, what I see is Gray reaches out to get that ball, kind of mishandles it, and her foot slips off the ball, and so she kind of stumbles down. Now, Black falls too, and on top of her, there's maybe a little bit there of a push by Black, but I also felt like it was really light. I thought Gray was going down anyway with that, and it's final minutes of a game here. I think there's an argument to be made that maybe there's something there, but I feel comfortable with that being a no call in this situation. About a minute later, we've got a controversial call, and I've switched it into the panoramic mode because the camera misses it and the rigger zoomed in. It's just off camera. We're going to look at this Black player here who's on the attack and the defender who comes in, and they're pretty well locked arm in arm, but when I play this, they're locked. Gray kicks it, and then I really felt like Black, after the kick, pushes her down. Now, she might have fallen anyway, even after kicking that out, but I had an angle looking between them, a much better angle than this camera, and I really felt that Black had given her more than that was necessary there. So I felt it was a push. I mean, what do you guys think looking at it here?
Yeah, you can see that Black kind of like turns her body, indicating that she does give a little bit of a push towards the end.
Switching back to the normal mode here and listening to the audio, you watch the coach. He's going to come and actually walk out here. He's upset by that call. He doesn't think it should have been a call. He gives me this look like, what, really? And then you hear the audio of what we say.
So it's pretty obvious.
Now, what the audio doesn't pick up here is that one of the assistant coaches, and I think the one that I gave the yellow card to, actually makes the comment like, yeah, it's pretty obvious what you're doing out there, which is again one of those things. I didn't want to go to the point of giving him a second yellow there. It's, final minutes of the game, but man, you just hate to see that kind of like, people do that to refs or, play the victim in those types of situations. I just hate to see it. But anyway, I think that's the right call and we carry on. Less than a minute later, we've got a challenge here. I'm not sure if you'd call it a charge or a push, but this gray player's got it. She kicks it up, and then this or black player just goes through her there and end up calling that, granting a direct free kick for the gray team in that situation. So in the final minutes of the game, we've still got a couple of decisions left because it's got chippy at the end, but we've got, again, tied game. Everybody wants to score. Gray has a very promising attack here, and we're going to see they pass the ball into this gray player here who's coming in on a nice run. But she ends up going down there, but she doesn't really have a shot. Given the way that pass went in, she just misses it here. So that ball's away. She's not going to get this ball. And then it's really a question here of does Black get her on the ankle or not? In this type of game, I'm on really high alert about players just trying to draw a foul. I was not 100% sure did she actually clip her on the leg. And I certainly felt like Gray didn't lose, if she was tripped, Gray didn't lose anything there. It's not like she was going to score without it. I mean, that ball was away. She was not going to get it.
I'm okay with the no
Awesome.
call. I wouldn't have called that either.
But I do end up going over to my assistant referee and I talked to Shoshana in this situation. So let's play that forward.
I'm gonna go with no.
So you can hear us talk there. Shoshana says she wasn't 100% sure. She couldn't tell from her angle, which, is reasonable. It's the middle of the field. I tell her that I definitely felt like she was, I think I definitely felt like she was trying to draw something. And so, given with that, you can't grant a penalty kick in that type of situation. We end up making that a no call and then let the game keep playing on. Very shortly after the no call in the penalty area there, I do a drop ball to the keeper. She kind of kicks it out, and there's a little bit of jostling for the ball. But then now we're going to look at this gray player and black player here, and Gray's kind of got it, and black just kind of goes through her. First trips her, and then kind of pushes her down. That's kind of our number 34, who was one of our instigators earlier in the game too. So when they set up for that direct free kick, it's a little bit off screen here, but black has a wall set up and gray kind of pushes through this here. So right here, I think is when the kick happens. But if we look at this gray player, she's pushing on this black player and you see her kind of stumble forward there. And unfortunately, the camera is panning a little bit here, but you can kind of see black stumble after gray pushes her.
Again, I would just recommend wait a second or so because it got kicked directly to the keeper. Keeper got it, so no need to call that foul. Keeper's hands, right? Play on. I saw it, but play on.
Oh,
and now she's got to
got to stop everything
Yeah.
versus just let the flow of the game happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fair point. In our final call of this match, we're going to see really just a dangerous play. This ball is up for grabs. Black here and gray here are going to challenge for it, and gray is going to just kick at the ball really high up right there. Dangerous, I felt, and put black at risk, so call that and grant an indirect free kick for black, and that ended up being the last call of the match. So that ends up concluding this game. This was a really exciting game. It's interesting. Two teams really going at it, pretty evenly matched, ended in a 2-2 tie. We knew going into the game that it had the potential to get chippy, and so we saw some of that play out. Maybe And there's a few things to learn here. Obviously, we missed a few calls that we wish we could have back. Definitely something that I've got to learn to watch the numbers of players that are committing the fouls and watch that closer and not just the overall temperature of the match, but specific players. And so with that, let's check out how we did score-wise. So with 33 decisions and 4.5 deductions, that gives us a Cypher score of 86.4%. So this is in the range that we define as a good game. It's on the lower end of the range, I think, but 85 to 95 we say is a good game. So Evan and Carlos, really appreciate the time that you guys invest coming out and helping. Always learn something, get that feedback from players and experienced signers and referees.
No, well, thank you for having us again.
Yeah, it's always
It's
fun.
always fun. Yes.
Yeah, good time. Then we learn so much from the videos. So
Yeah.
join us back next Friday for our next game review or Sapper Short. But I'm Scott,
I'm Carlos.
I'm Evan.
and we'll
We'll
see you out on the
pitch.
pitch. And it's so weird how you get you go and you ref 20 girls games and 19 of them are fine. And then you get that one.
Here's where they're complaining that the players are influencing the referees, in their opinion. And he goes and tries to influence the referees.
I need to bleep that out in the video.
Probably. I'll have to. I haven't had to bleep anything yet. I'll have to figure that out. This is when they
He's going to talk to his AR again, like he's supposed to do. Damn it.